Hey, welcome to Full 42. We are talking about our top 5 comic book series, which is a kind of a loaded title because you could take that in different ways, and I'm sure we'll discuss that. We have Sean with us. You didn't write out your whole last name, which I always like. How do I pronounce that? It's Jacquemain.
Jacquemain, yes, or Jacquemain, if you want to be Frencher about it. But
it's got a lot more letters in it than I would have expected from this.
I did not know how to spell my last name till embarrassingly late in my school life. I remember teachers asking me like, "How do you spell that?" I'm like, "I'm really not sure."
Starts with a J.
Starts with a J and then Ackerman.
Yeah.
And you're from Burnt Island Games and Big Kids. No, not Big Kids. Kids Table.
Board gaming, yes.
Yeah, I always get the words mixed up, and then I have to look at the
It is kind of confusing, especially considering like we do kids games for sure, but like more family games, like not the typical sort of games that we think of as being like fully kids games. So we're kind of going with KTBG because it's a little easier to just easier to remember. You don't get all jumbled up there.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with any of those companies, right? Like, do you remember? You know IDW.
Yep. Yeah.
Do you know what IDW stood for?
No. What is it?
Independence.
Nope.
No.
International.
Nope.
Incredible.
Nope.
Isometric.
Perfect.
Incidental.
So the only reason I know is because of the royalty checks from Batman, or else I never had any idea. But it's Idea and Design Works.
Idea and Design. Yeah.
Why shorten that? That's actually not a bad, name.
Idea and Design Works Publishing, Idea and Design Works Games, IDW.
I don't mind them shortening it necessarily, but you shouldn't lose the whole idea of what that is. Like shortening it to make it snappier is okay, but it should be clear that is what it is because interesting.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. I was with CMON like right at the time that they went from Cool Mini or Not to CMON, and that was an interesting transition as well.
How was that? I mean, I can imagine everybody was on board with the change, right?
I mean, the rebrand was pretty, at least company-wide, was pretty well pushed. And like honestly, the new logo, the new like style, like was quite good. Like they did a great job with it. So I think people picked up on it pretty quickly.
Is it Simon or come on? Because I hear it both ways still.
Oh, I would say internally, definitely they would say Simon, but I mean, I cannot tell people how to say it.
Sure.
People are gonna say it how they're gonna say it, so
they're gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, does it still officially stand for Cool Mini or not, or is it really just nope? It's just this.
Legally changed the name. I don't really know. I don't really know what's on their tax forms, to be honest with you. But I don't know. I don't know how difficult that is to change, or if I mean, like we certainly haven't like done anything. Like we are kids table board gaming. We're just kind of like going with the KTBG because it's. I mean, let's be honest. It's snappier.
Yeah.
Just boom. KTBG. Seems good.
It's probably honestly, it's probably easier to add names to an existing company than it is to change one. Like also known as this kind of thing.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, it's tough to like completely change names. There was a time when I first joined them that we threw around the ideas of like getting rid of one or the other brands and going with just one of them, and I think if that had been the case, we probably would have gone with Burnt Island Games. But I think KTBG is just very iconic now, so I'm kind of glad we kept them both.
Well, and they're different. Like when you think of KTBG and you think of Burnt Island, you think, I mean, they're branded correctly, right? KTBG has a snappy logo, a certain art style, a very family friendly feel to it, and then Burnt Island's got the heavier stuff. Not necessarily heavy like 4.0 rated on BGG, but definitely
Yeah.
heavier than Cafe Barras kind of stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I was just gonna say when Helena was on here, and it's been a while. She needs to be back. When she was on
Coming
here,
back
she
next
did
month.
say they were throwing around the idea of like just merging into one name. But now I'm guessing after Endeavor's big, big, awesome,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody's taking in, loving it. Awards coming,
Yeah.
hopefully, yeah, all that stuff, nominations and stuff. I
Mm.
can't imagine either one of the names going away.
No, yeah, it's yeah, now it's kind of cemented itself and like we're kind of locked in on having both of them. And I honestly I think that we have kind of come to the conclusion that that's better anyway. Like it interestingly gives us freedom, even though like uh each brand is a little bit more narrow in the type of games that appeal to that specific brand. Having two different ones that are kind of opposite to each other uh allows us kind of some greater freedoms to go like further in one direction or another,
Right.
than we necessarily would have if it was just one brand. So
Yeah,
Is
you
there
get to
any
kill the
disagreement of
wild
which game goes to which brand?
mm.
cat.
Never lengthy ones for sure. Like I mean, there are some moments where I'll have this vision for this game, like it'll show up to us and we'll be playing it all together, and like in my head I'm certain it's a kids table game, and Josh or Helena may say no, Burnt Island for sure, and so we'll throw it around. I mean, never any big disagreements, but definitely I've been surprised as to where they decide to put it in the past. So it's interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
But usually it's pretty obvious. Like usually we just see where it comes in, and it's like because both lines are so defined and because we know them so well, it's just kind of obvious where a game will slot in.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
good.
like but like I mean, like many publishers, I think we're trying to, Burnt Island has always been our more heavy strategic brand, but more and more so we're trending towards more accessible, not light by any means, but more accessible sort of titles there. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, like how to save how to save a world, how to save a planet, how to save a world. Yeah.
How to Save the World. Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Instead planet.
How to Save
Yeah,
the World.
it's still great. It looks pretty. I mean, the box is just, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Was that the one we played last time you were here?
Yes.
Or were
I
you
think-
here in
yeah.
between then?
I don't think
No.
I have
Yeah,
managed to be here in between then. So
I think,
that was a
I
yeah,
think it was you and Yuval. Yeah.
yeah. It is a really fun game, and we're excited because at Origins, it'll be available for the first time. So it has started to like show up to backers and getting good reports. Everything is like looking exactly how it should, which is awesome. It always feels good when those games start showing up and you start seeing pictures of them everywhere. But yeah, we're excited to have it for people to play, games at Origins and even pick up copies. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a no. We talked about it on the show last week. With the Rundown folks, we did an Origins preview, and
Oh, cool.
it's such a damn good game. You guys knock it out of the park with your
Oh.
production value, everything, but the design decisions in that game are just, they're so smart, and it's just brilliant.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, we like what we do shoot for is games with unique mechanisms with a hook to them. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
I think this is like it's a neat mix of worker placement and hand management, but the way that you kind of like build the bag with your different cubes that are going in there, working on the various projects to stop this like giant asteroid coming in is like a really unique thing, and just having the asteroid as a component, sort of like inching its way closer and closer to the planet as kind of like the timer ticks down, is a really cool element as well. So
Well, even this the smartness of how you would approach that in real life. If there was a giant asteroid
Yeah.
hurling towards Earth, what would you do? Cool. You can try and blast it up. And if that doesn't work, at least you made it small enough for your shield to work. And if that doesn't work, well, then you got to get off. But even that hierarchy of decisions is so. I mean, the choices on which workers to use and what resources to get, and are you going to get stuck off world? Like all the choices in that game matter, and they start to compound. Like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done this. But even the smartness of what you would do to attack the asteroid, it's just so smart as a
Yeah.
design.
Yeah. I mean, that one was such a fun one to work on because I mean, everything kind of slotted into place really quickly, and it was, uh, the broader idea of having this like bag that you were throwing different cubes into to kind of affect your odds of
Right.
pulling the cubes you want. That was always kind of central to it, and then the ways that the hand building worked and the worker placement work just kind of came together and complemented that central idea.
Right.
So yeah, it is a really neat one. Like we've got actually that was Yuval Greenspan's first design, but we have another one of his coming up that we've been working on sort of behind the scenes. And so
Nice.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too. And interestingly, that's going to be a KTBG game. So
Oh, all right.
yes. Yeah, we did the same with Adam Dalton, who did Power Plants and Fall of the Mountain King. So we crossed the
Right.
company brand line with both of those guys, which was kind of cool.
That's fun.
Yeah, the Mountain King games are good too. Those are underrated. I mean,
Yeah, yep. I mean, great games, and I mean, definitely there's probably more to explore there. Like we always have. I mean, when we have sort of like these created worlds, like the Creature Comforts world or the Mountain King world, like we're always kind of like when we get a pitch in there, we're always thinking, can this fit into one of those lines? And would this work
mhm,
as a Mountain King game, or could this be a Creature Comforts game? I mean, usually we do that with specifically Roberta Taylor, but we,
right.
we see what's out there and we see what could fit into the world, which is fun.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
fun trying to get a game to fit into a world, right?
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
So then,
Well,
of course, you got. We're still going down the. Oh, we still have like announcements and shit. I want
yeah,
to get into
I
like
was about to say before we get
Endeavor
into all
and
this, we could do announcements, which is still part of this because obviously the biggest announcement is that tomorrow, you have a Kickstarter launching, right? I don't know why you're wasting time with us, but thanks.
No. I mean, look, I'm not doing anything else anyway, and this is great. We get to chat about comic books and Kickstarter, so it's like you
Yeah.
can't go wrong. But
Right.
yeah, we've got the Uncharted Waters expansion for Endeavor Deep Sea, and it's going to be great. I think if you are a fan of Deep Sea, you're going to love everything that's in here because it is in many ways more of what you love. New specialists, new missions, new dive tokens, and a whole bunch of mini expansions that go in there. And
Nice.
each of the new missions have some kind of mechanical uniqueness to them that is going to be change the way that you've played in the past.
Hmm.
And then we've got, certain mini expansions like the fog or tectonic split, where you're going to be on two different sections of the board as you build it up. So yeah, just I mean the way Endeavor Deep Sea works, it's kind of I was saying today, it's kind of limitlessly expandable because you can always add new ocean boards, new missions, new ways to play, new specialists. There's all sorts of new ways to approach it, and so yeah, like we're super excited for this campaign, and then also for people to get a chance to get the deluxe version
Hmm.
if they didn't get that on the original campaign we had
Nice.
last year. Yeah,
Is there an upgrade to people who have the retail version right now?
there is an upgrade that's available that kind of comes with like the insert and some of the things that are missing. But I don't know how widely available that is. Like I know we had some of them following like once it kind of was fulfillment was done in the last
Mhm.
few months. I don't know if we're like fully sold out of those or not. Everything will be available again through the campaign, so all of that stuff will be orderable as we go, which is
That's right.
great.
I'll just check the FAQ for the campaign, right?
Check your
Just check the
FAQ.
FAQ. That's what it's there for.
For
It'll be there.
those that are watching this and then jumping in tomorrow, are they going to be able to get these sweet things?
Oh yeah, we always have the token racks, the card and token racks available on the campaign. Those are very helpful things. We developed them for Into Deep, but then we were like, oh, we can make them. Obviously they're available for any game. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I got these in the How to Save a World. I added them on because I had gotten them. I think Helena brought a bunch to a gathering a couple years ago, and I fell in love with them, and then had the opportunity. Like they're branded nicely. Come on,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah, they're very
Right,
cool.
put their tokens and cards, and they come in a 5-pack, and they're just. And even this has that magnetic thing. Like everything they do. If you can get these, grab these on the Kickstarter. They're well worth it. Um, if they're available tomorrow before they well, I'm sure they won't sell out. You probably just make more of them. But those are some of my favorite things. I love those things.
Thank you, thank you.
Very cool.
They are very cool. They are
Yeah.
very cool.
They're neat. Yeah,
And that's
so
9 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
don't tell Eric.
He wants to be number one.
I know, but don't tell Eric.
Oh, let him know it's not a big deal. Yes, yes.
Eastern time.
9 a.m. Eastern time is when we will go live. So yeah, super excited to see
Cool.
how it does. Like we loved Endeavor Deep Sea. We had like a ton of confidence in that game, and so it arriving to backers and people getting to play it and getting like good reviews and like a really positive response feels great. And so it gives us kind of the confidence to go deeper as we're saying, like in this game, like kind of push some of the ideas that we had in the base game and try different things that if you love the base game, you're gonna like of course love the expansion as well. So
Everything in the expansion obviously is fully integratable. Like you're just going to take it and put it
yeah.
in, or do you have to remove? And then the mini expansions, can you compile them into the same kind of game, or do you got to choose which
Yep.
one? Cool.
Yep. Generally, the mini
Great.
expansions involve a new component of some kind and a new ocean tile of some kind, but very easily can be incorporated in. Like basically, if the new just like the ones in the base game, if the tile comes up in its place, it may come with some specific tokens like the orcas or the underwater academy, and you would just add those in as per the instructions for the thing.
Nice.
Cool. Easy.
Yeah.
Nice.
I assume the packaging is going to be made in the same way as before, the environmentally friendly, the really inspiring way that it was all put together was really cool.
Yeah, definitely. We will continue to look for paper solutions, keep it 100% plastic free, and for any kind of inserts, that sort of thing, we'll be using most likely bagasse, which is that sugar cane byproduct. But I mean,
It's really good. I tried it.
yeah, it works super well, and like what we've seen is that for one thing, people have been appreciative that we've been using like taking steps in that direction, and we've seen other publishers like go that same route. Like I've seen Bagasse in other games as well. So definitely, like I mean, to Mark of Grand Gamers Guild and Helena of Bird Island, like a huge priority for them is to keep the environmentally friendly packaging to go along with the environmentally friendly theme,
Right.
So
Yeah, Mark's another great one to partner up with.
oh yeah, Mark is a ton of fun to work with, and like we have similar philosophies. Last month, I believe it was, Jarrett, from one of the designers, came all the way up to Grand Rapids to spent some time with Mark, and Josh went down there, and they were working together, working on development and stuff like that. So
Nice.
it was, the people we've been working with for many, many years. It was the first time like to actually be with them in person. So
That's cool.
yeah, it's good to. I mean, it's great to connect with people like online and stuff like that, and you can do so much with it. But sitting around a table, like sharing ideas, is definitely the way to have good progress in game development. So always good when you can do that.
Yep.
All right, so 9 in the morning tomorrow, and then you can get all the things, and then you're heading to Origins this week. What's
Tomorrow.
your booth number? Yeah, tomorrow.
Our booth number is 1413.
1413. Okay.
Yeah,
So then you stop by
1413.
1413 and get all the things that you need
Yeah.
to add to your collection.
Yeah. And
Cool.
this is we will finally this year have a 20 by 20 booth at Origins, which makes us so happy because we'll be able
Nice.
to run our demos like in the booth, and people will like immediately be able to move from one table to the next to try out different games, which is also, it's nice to have the whole team together rather than kind of spread throughout the convention. So yeah, looking forward to that as well. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it'll be good.
Who's in the? You have any guests? Is Yuval going down?
Yuval's coming down, and Yuval is running Play with the Designers for How to Save a World at 10 a.m. each day for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So
Nice.
Yuval will be in the booth, and yeah, you can learn how to save a world from the designer, which is
Nice.
pretty awesome. Yeah, I love doing that. I love doing those sorts of things, especially at a place like Origins where in my mind, Origins is much more about game playing than it is so much a consumer show like, for example, Gen Con.
Yeah.
And so it's just easier to have that opportunity to sit down and like meet the designers and like, I think it's exciting. Like I remember when I was, just a fan of the hobby, like meeting certain people. I don't want to say who, but like I was like a little starstruck. So
Was it Chris? Was it Chris? Was it Chris that you?
I didn't want to say, but you dragged it out of me. Yes, it was Chris. I remember, no, the first time I ever met Eric Lang, I know he's watching right now. Hello, Eric.
I'm sure.
I'm sure he's watching. But the first time I met him was a little starstruck moment for me. And now he's my buddy. But it is that way. It is that way when you meet people kind of for the first time, especially if you're a fan of the hobby,
Sure. Yeah, we've all been there. I remember all the first times, like when I met Richard Lanius, the first time I was totally starstruck, and now my name's on a box with him. But same thing with Eric. Like first time meeting Eric was definitely a starstruck moment. I asked him to sign a box for Dice Masters or something, and now it's Daryl will be on a call with him, and Eric will interrupt Daryl and be like, "I need to talk to Mike for a second." It's like, oh, this is kind of cool. Yeah, it is fun. I mean, this industry it's just that it's got a lot of those special kind of people in it though. So it's easy when that kind of thing happens because most of them are just genuine people.
Yeah, pretty down to earth, like friendly people. Same with me and Eric. Like we're just buddies now. So yeah. But
it's a benefit of the small industry. Yeah, you can all be friends. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And somebody's going to be telling the story about when they met Yuval for the first time.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. I met him in person. It was at Origins.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
I think I met him for the first time at Origins, and then he came to QSCon.
Right. Yes. Yeah, that was such a great show. Such a great trip.
Yeah, you're coming. I know Yuval's coming back. You're coming back, right?
I think I am. I have to see if I can work it out. This year has been a crazy year for me in many different ways. Got married, which was exciting, and thank you. And we're probably moving within the next little while. So my life has been a roller coaster for this year. So I'm kind of like, I would love to commit to many different things, but I kind of have to see what goes. But I mean, QSCon was pretty much my favorite outside of I think The Gathering. which is tough to beat. But
Hard
Q-Spin
to
was
beat.
like, yeah. But I had a great time there, playing games. It had that same sort of feel to the Gathering, where it's just very much about playing games and hanging out with people and having fun. So that's what I
a lot
need.
of it is modeled after Gathering. I mean, Gathering it's a special kind of thing where it's focused on there's small vendor presence, which isn't Gathering, but it's focused on the gameplay and the hanging out with your
Right.
friends kind of thing, making those moments. So I'm glad that comes across.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
It was a ton of fun,
Thank you.
So I remember coming back like energized from it. So
Awesome.
yeah,
And
Good.
QsCon
yeah.
is in September.
Love how you have to pause to think about how to say it. It's so
I
fun.
have to think of the Q.
Unbelievable.
Otherwise, I
Yeah,
say QsCon.
yeah, like koozies. Yeah,
But
September.
I'm trying-
September 18th? September 18th to the 21st.
Yeah.
In Syracuse.
In
Obviously.
Syracuse. Yeah.
How far a drive is that for you, Sean?
It was about 4 or 5 hours. We
Not bad.
it wasn't bad. We kind of took our time, especially on the way back. There was a demand for a trip to an Olive Garden, and that it was one of our travel mates. It was his first time to a Olive Garden, and this guy had been to Italy. Like he like has an appreciation for fine foods. He's a man who like makes his own sauces and gives delicious cookies as a gift. Maybe I'm giving it away, but I saw his soul die in that Olive Garden. Like he was there, and it was funny because one of our travel companions was really excited. Like they were like, okay, the only thing I care about is that we have to stop at an Olive Garden sometime during this trip. So he really wanted to go, and we were on our way home, and it was like the last chance. So we stopped on this way, and yeah, this guy's soul just died in there, and then also the crestfallen nature of the other guy who so loved, like just genuinely loved Olive Garden, and was so disappointed that was not shared.
The importance, the missing thing there's no Olive Garden in Canada.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we were going back, and so it's like this legendary thing. Although we have things like Olive Garden, like I would say Eastside. Do you guys have Eastside Mario's? Do you know what Eastside Mario's is? No. So Eastside Mario's is like Olive Garden. I worked actually at 2 separate Eastside Mario's, but essentially it's the same deal. It's like, pasta, and you order it and you get like unlimited bread, unlimited soup and salad and stuff like that until your meal comes out. That's the same sort of idea.
Yeah, mushy pasta. It's overcooked.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
So
I ate there last night.
At Olive Garden.
I did. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
I have,
and it's been a long time since I have. But a friend of mine said, "Hey, let's go there." So sure.
I have no problem with the garden. They treat you like family. You get a taste of Italy. Authentic taste of Italy. Well,
it's
a taste of Italy.
Yeah, I don't know about authentic. I've never been to Italy, so I wouldn't know. But
this
soup
guy,
and salad and breadsticks. It's not that bad.
Yeah, that's right.
As long as you know what you're going for.
I was quite amused because I had been to Olive Garden, so I knew what I was in for, and I knew that was going to be the outcome with this guy. So I was just enjoying it. I was eating popcorn,
sitting there waiting.
But it was bread. It was like garlic bread. I knew it was coming.
The breadsticks are good. The breadsticks are good. The soup's a little watered down. The pasta's overcooked, but the breadsticks are good.
It is weird. I remember as a kid those breadsticks being like the best thing in the world, and then last night I was just like, they're all right. And I was just, is it me that's changed, or is it the breadsticks that have changed? Who knows?
Probably the breadsticks.
Yeah,
oh, there you go.
it's those breadsticks are getting the Italian tariff. They're coming in. So.
The garlic tariff.
Yeah,
well, Olive Garden has nothing to do with announcements, but
yeah, we're getting sidetracked here.
Love
So
it.
Origins, the Kickstarter tomorrow, which is also linked in the descriptions, by the way, if anybody wants to go follow and then jump
Please.
on there. Any other announcements that you'd like to speak about?
Me, let me think. I mean, Origins is the big one. It's like so right around the corner, and of course, the Kickstarter we've decided to launch on the same day. So, those are. Oh, the other one, the Kennerspiel. We haven't really talked
Oh.
about. I mean, I'll just talk about it a little bit.
No, brag.
You know, it's no big deal. But no, it's exciting. Like, we were all huddled around our laptops watching like the announcement, and like getting the nomination is amazing. And Mark and Josh and Helena and the two designers are coming from New Zealand, but they're all going to go to Berlin for the award ceremony. So
Oh, no kidding. Cool.
I really hope they win, because that's going to be a long plane ride home if they don't win. It's just,
Well, the
you feel-
nomination, I mean, to get nominated is good too, right? Because you're now
Totally.
on other people's radars that might not have not only heard of the company, but now they're looking at your back catalog and what you've done in the past, and
Absolutely.
it's a good magnifying
Oh, yeah.
glass to have.
I will never poo-poo the nomination. I'm so happy for the nomination. I was happy because they did it in an interesting way, where they kind of announced all of the long list, and then kind of went through and were talking, and then did the actual nominees. So even the long list, like, we were thrilled at, just being mentioned at all in that conversation is great. And I mean, there's great games out there, like, I mean, I'll tell you, I love Far Away. Like, Far Away is a fun little game, and I haven't played Loot yet, but I know a lot of people who have played it and loved it. So, I mean, you can't feel bad about losing to any of those games either,
It is really strange because, I mean, if I had to pick one, Kenner is the one I'd want, just because that's more my weight that I like of games and stuff. It is really strange, though, that I wouldn't have put Endeavor Deep Sea on the same weight list as Far Away. I love both games, actually, but and I haven't played the other one, but they don't feel even close to the same weight range to me. So
no, I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's interesting, and I mean, I think from what I've heard, Far Away is kind of the lighter of the three, and then Loot is somewhere in the middle, and then Endeavor's kind of the high end of the three of them. And so it just kind of depends on what they're looking for in the year and what they think the Kenner feel is going to be. Because, I mean, is it going to be like a game like Far Away, that sort of weight year after year? Or is it going to be more like Daybreak, I think, won last year? And so, like, I would think Endeavor, is closer in weight to like that sort of game. So,
yeah. Well, and Daybreak had that little environmental nod, right? Like there's same thing with you guys, where you're forward thinking in your packaging, and like it's gonna be good.
I mean, you'd have to remember that it's German centered, right? So I mean, it's subjective what is weight and whatnot, anyways. But you're already looking at that through a lens of another culture. I mean, at least from our point of view, right? So, who's to say what is right and what is in the categories and stuff? It's them who's to say. But it was just strange to me to see those two next to each other.
Yeah, they definitely do seem not to be of the same category, but I guess we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. It almost feels like because even Kenner for me has always been on the light side of it. Like, it doesn't feel heavy, right? But every now and then one like Endeavor like sneaks in, and it feels like it made it to the tables, even though it's a little heavier than most people are used to, and people are like, okay, we really like this, and it almost the exception. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, yes, absolutely. I think something like Endeavor is the exception, as we've sort of seen. In the past.
Makes it even more special, honestly.
Absolutely. And as I said, like, I mean, honestly, we will be we are so happy just with the nominee, like, already. Like, It'll be great to win. It'll be great to win if we win. But I mean, I won't feel bad about losing to either of those games either.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good.
It'll be exciting. It'll be exciting for sure. And I mean, at the Origins Awards, we're actually up for the Green Gamers Guild Award for Endeavor Deep Steve for the packaging and stuff. And that's one that's like super important to us because it's a recognition of that people got what we were putting out there. You know what I mean?
The competition?
To be honest, I don't know. I wrote our entry for it, and I tried to write like a master's thesis about why we made the decisions we did, and like what was important to us, and all this different stuff. And so I hope that we win that one. I don't know who the competition is, to be honest with you. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Seems like a slam dunk. So good luck.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Mike, you got some announcements, show and tells, stuff like that?
I guess show and tells. I mean, I guess announcements. Like, see you at Origins for everyone's going to Origins.
I won't be there.
No, you won't. Next weekend, the weekend after Origins is campaign weekend. If you're local or around the area, June 28th, 29th is campaign weekend. Same hotel as QsCon, focused on campaign or scenario based games with an incentive to play those. Everyone that gets completed by people, they're going to get a sticker of some sort. Ooh. And then whoever plays the most or completes the most will be, or everyone you get will get you a ticket. And then at the end, I'm going to draw a ticket and you win $100.
If you could pick any campaign to start and finish at a convention, which one would it be?
Oof.
It doesn't have to be strictly campaign, but the big ones are like, oh man, am I going to play that many games? All that kind of stuff. I know which one it's for me because it's sitting on my shelf. It's been sitting on my shelf for a long time. I've only played it 3 times, and I want to play all of them. And it's the Hellboy Kickstarter one, a giant box, all the minis and stuff. I haven't even gotten to even like 20% of all those minis. I can't wait to get to them, but it's hard to get people together for it.
Someone in the chat brought up Sleeping Gods, which I'm going to play for the first time.
Oh, cool.
And then I would love to rock through Unsettled. I'd play Unsettled through all of the planets. It's not necessarily, I don't know if it's scenario or campaign. I guess it's scenario, not campaign. But I love the production value and the gameplay of that game.
Of Unsettled, yeah. That's interesting. I am not a campaign game player. I have not committed too much. Like, I've played a few legacy games here or there, like the original Risk Legacy and Pandemic Legacy, but I don't campaign too much. From my days at Steamon, I think one that I have on my shelf that I would love to get to someday and like play through is did you ever play or hear of Rise of Moloch?
No.
Familiar with the one? It's like a steampunky kind of like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type co-op game.
It's got the chunky bust as the pieces, right?
Yeah. There's some chunky boys.
Yeah.
In there, but it's I've kind of had it out, and it's I know it's a good game because I've played kind of like portions of it, but it's kind of like, I mean, I have that one as one of those games that I'm gonna play, during the zombie apocalypse when there's nothing else to do. Like, that's what I tell myself for, my shelf of shame. I'm just like, zombie apocalypse, I will get to those games. I'm not worried.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yes. Other than that, the only other thing I got the kids got me something cool for Father's Day. The hat I'm wearing.
Oh yeah.
With my initials and the little meatball. But to make it better, they have matching hats.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What's the R stand for?
My middle initial?
Yeah. What's it stand for?
The name of it? I don't know if I want to give you that information.
Rudolph?
It is.
If we guess it, you have to tell us.
Rupert?
Rumpelstiltskin.
You get 3 guesses. Be serious. If it's not Rumpelstiltskin, that'd be fucking awesome, though.
You would tell us if it was Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, 100%.
No, he specifically can't tell us if it's Rumpelstiltskin. We have to guess.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. That's true.
3 guesses. Okay, but none of our
The
previous
comments
guesses
get as
count.
many guesses as they want, though.
You get 3 guesses.
All right, I'm gonna guess number 1 is gonna be for me is gonna be Randy.
It's not Randy.
Randy, I got an Uncle Randy.
I'll go basic with Robert.
You got it.
Wow, man, I should have gone.
Right out the gate.
Yeah, that's my mom's dad. Is Robert.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think is it like an Italian name or something like that? Couldn't think
Yeah,
of
you
one.
got it.
Other
Yes,
than
number
Rudolph.
1, Robert. Good job.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah, that was great.
Wow.
You ruined it for everybody. Way to go.
My guess number 2 was gonna be Rory. So
Oh, that's
Rory.
a good.
It really goes well with Giuliano. Yeah, Rory.
Rory Giuliano. Rory
Robert
Giuliano.
Barra.
Yeah, it almost makes you.
Sure. Yep, that's all I got. I don't know what else. What do you got?
All right.
You got a bug of the week or no?
No, but I have an accomplishment. Look at that.
Oh,
Wow. How long did that take you? Wait,
Um,
is it brand new and you just opened it up in the
No,
package?
it's not. Actually, I get close.
I bought
yeah,
this.
Warren, it is. It's an old one. In fact, it's an annoyingly sticky one to adjust. Yeah, so I had to watch a video on the methods of how to do it and stuff like that. So let's say it was a lot more time than I thought I was going to invest in it.
But you cheated because you used a video on how to.
No, you need a video. Or you need a video, or I also looked up articles. There's articles on how to do it. Because there's algorithms. You can't just sit here and do it. There's algorithms to do
Like
for each
top
different
wise, left, and then left
Yeah.
side, upwise, and then
There's a whole system. You have to solve the cross for the white first, then the corners, and then that'll give you this whole bottom row. And then you have to focus on this row. There's a whole other algorithm for that. And then you have to focus on the cross of the yellow and then each corner there. I got to eat to the last 2 and messed it up at like 2 o'clock in the morning because I was still up doing it. And I was devastated. I went to bed and I still had it going on in my head. And then when I woke up that morning, I grabbed it and did it for another hour, and then I finally got it.
It was like, you had the Queen's Gambit of Rubik's Cube, you saw it on the ceiling.
All the different little
Yeah.
the equations, all that stuff. Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, well, what's funny is like the video is what actually threw me off because the way they described it and stuff, it just wasn't enough. But I read an article in the morning and I was like, oh, okay, I understand why I'm doing it this way versus what the video was teaching. So, yeah.
Good for you.
Have you ever seen the speed competitions of these Rubik's Cube solvers?
Ridiculous.
It's insane.
It's like 4.2 seconds blindfolded. Like, it's just unreal what they do.
And that's because you really don't need to see it because it really is an algorithm. You just have to kind of like know the pattern.
Right.
Yeah.
No
There's a
problem.
lot of stuff like you could just look and go, okay, I already have that. So I need to do this 2 times on this one, but I don't care about getting that. And I might break it, like move it around and mess it all up and try it one more time to see if I can do it without all the help. But I'm not doing that right now.
You have nightmares about it.
Yeah. I'll have to do it when I know I've got to like sit still for like 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
In my car ride somewhere or something like that. Yeah. But no other announcement. Oh, actually, I'll be at RageCon on the 26th, 7th, and 8th. Or no, 27th, 8th, and 9th.
Next weekend.
Yeah, the next weekend.
Next weekend.
So I'll be at RageCon. So come by and say hi. I'll be at the Cardboard Alchemy booth,
Fun.
Cool.
showing off my new game and expansions for Andromeda's Edge.
Nice.
Genesis.
Yeah, I saw Luke was testing that one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Lucas
Neat.
painting and then we'll get into comics.
Oh, we haven't even showed. We won't get. We'll get in comics, but we haven't. We'll show some artwork for the. I got some images that Sean shared with us.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah, do that.
Yeah, some deep sea images.
We'll do it after the painting.
Do that. You should have done that when we were talking about Deep Sea.
I should have, but I was interested. We're being asked for Luca painting though, so
It's like your first time every time we do it. It's great.
that's why it's special.
You always remember
all right.
your first time.
Yeah,
You do every time. It's 40 for it's Chris's nightmare. He has to date me every Monday night for an hour or so.
an hour or so.
So yeah, Luke. This is part of the last collection that he did. There's one more in the series. If you go back to the last couple we've done, these are all from June 2nd. And while he was doing these, I got back into painting.
Ooh,
Oh.
ooh, that's good. I like that, Albert.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, good job.
What's that one
Thinking.
specifically for? Just for playing minis and stuff, or?
It was an owlbear, and I wanted to paint an owlbear.
No, I mean like you're not gonna use it in a game or anything like that, or
No, he's gonna hang out here on my table with Moon Knight, and they're just gonna become friends.
nice.
Uh-huh. Well, and Pocahontas. Don't ever forget about Pocahontas. So yeah, this is today's Luca painting. Good luck.
Ooh.
All right, so if this is your first time watching, then we like to look at the paintings and say in the comments what you see. It's we're going to evaluate your mental stability based off of that, but don't worry about that. I know what I see, and we'll see what the comments say here. Oh, look at that. Paint figs last week. Paint figs. Oh, figures.
Oh my God, Chris.
Fig trees? All right, so Mushu, this tiny dragon friend.
Mushu. Good
Yeah.
call.
I could see that. Yep. That's very close to what I had. Yeah. Chinese dragon. Yeah, that's basically exactly what I was seeing as well. Yeah. I like the purple. The purple and the brown is good.
The
Yeah.
purple looks a little like a samurai to me, perhaps.
This one over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's got a little samurai look to him.
Yeah, I can't get away from the Asian influence feel. That snowy bamboo in the background and the dragon kind of snaking up. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that not what you saw?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I see a water snake.
Red gondola and the purple forest.
Or a hand puppet, like a sock puppet, hand puppet.
Oh, and you love puppets.
Fucking hate puppets.
Like my friend back here.
Get away! I don't want to look at it.
That's my old man Muppet.
God, I hate that thing. I'm gonna start moving one day. I'm gonna just leave. It'll be the end of the 42.
I started an episode with him one time and he just left.
Yeah, it was done.
That's a phobia. That's a real phobia.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just gonna come to life and start turning their heads.
Old
You're gonna
man
lose everyone.
spirit.
You'll lose Dave and Di. You'll lose Eric. Don't do it.
I'm gonna bring it to the gathering.
Oh my God, I hate you so much.
He's gonna play games with us. I like this one. Old man spirit worm following a skipping turtle dragon.
Purple dragon. Learn to read.
Poopa phobia, is that what it's called? For
Is
puppets?
it really?
Yes.
So you're all wrong from Luca. This is a playground. This is a little
slide?
purple slide. This is another slide, and this is a climbing wall.
Oh, climbing. You mean like monkey bars?
Like a climbing. He said climbing wall.
But is that what you
Yeah.
call monkey bars, or is that just something he called it?
No, that's something he called it. Monkey bars are monkey bars. He called
Oh,
it the
okay.
climbing.
I didn't know if
At
there
one
was
of
a
the
term,
playground.
northern term that you call them climbing
No,
walls.
no. Us Northerners still call them monkey bars. The playground that we go to, there's monkey bars, but there's also a climbing wall. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen those in playground.
Nice.
But yeah, I really like the purple. The purple and brown is cool. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
and he
nice
said that
together.
this is an upside down bat. He made sure to tell me it was an
What
upside down bat.
playgrounds are you taking him to?
I don't know. I've never seen a bat there, but yeah, I really do like that purple.
Yeah.
It's a good
Oh,
looking
that's
purple.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. It's good.
There you go. There's today's.
Nice. All right. So, speaking of art, you shared 3 images. I love the artwork in DC. It's so good. I'm trying to figure out the buttons to push to show them. There we go. Yeah.
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 Man, you can feel the cold with that iceberg right there.
Who's the artist, Sean?
For this one, it's a new artist. We had Shahid, who had worked on previous ones on Endeavor DC, and he's worked on some Fall of the Mountain King in the past with us too.
Nice.
Let me look at that.
I don't know if people can see it on the on the thing here, but what is it doing? It's doing a weird glitchy thing.
Yeah.
But I like the different gradients in the sky. It's very subtle, but
yeah. So most of these will be by Tithi Luadsong, who's a new artist that we've been working with, but he's been amazing for us.
Cool.
Yeah. Josh sings his praises. When Josh finds an artist he likes, he's so thrilled.
Very cool.
Yeah,
and then we have Going Below.
nice.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's neat. It looks like something from Batteries Not Included.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's got that round disc with the arms that come out. That's cool.
Yeah. It feels like it's got a little personality in there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then these are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got some friends who will be really happy that there's some sharks in there.
Were there not sharks in the original one?
No, we had dolphins, orcas,
Yeah, orcas.
whale pods,
Huh.
giant squids. No sharks.
No sharks.
Now I assume in the game there'll be icons over this, and
Yes, of course.
you get to go to it and stuff. Do you know what mechanism is on it? Can you say or?
I cannot say, or I will not say, because I don't actually. I actually don't know. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it secret, but it's my choice to keep it secret. I could tell you if I wanted to, but I choose not to tell you. No, I haven't seen all of them made up. I've been kept somewhat unfortunately out of the loop, but it's just because of the quick turnaround and the fact that Jared and Carl, the designers, they do most of the stuff like themselves in house, which is pretty great. Like they take the lion's share of the development from us, which is fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I assume that was all planned. The expansion was planned to begin with, right? It wasn't a rush job because you guys got the nominee. Like that was always coming, right?
Yeah, that was always coming. Through the design of the game itself, like you can tell it's the type of game that kind of cries for an expansion. And pretty soon after the campaign for Deep Sea, Jared and Carl were working on new ideas that they didn't fully develop for the base game, but were hanging around, and they just knew they wanted to try different things. So they've got more in the hopper that they're
Nice.
working on as well. So I think this will probably not be the last expansion for the game, because I think that it does lend itself to kind of new scenarios, new ocean boards and stuff like that. But no, the timing was just really fortunate for us. Like, we had always sort of planned to do an expansion around the time that fulfillment was happening. So it was kind of like had that momentum that you look for. But it was a happy accident to get the nomination around that time, and then yeah, to go ahead and announce the expansion on the same day. It was great.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
it was good timing for us in that sense. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I
So
loved Helena and I talked about it, I think, when Helena was on, but Endeavor, I love the original. And when you guys took it and revamped it and gave it that much needed facelift and brought the art style and the gameplay with it, and then when you went to Deep Sea, it's a smart move.
Yeah.
I think, I think that what always has shined about Endeavor is like the mechanisms, like the system of like moving up your various tracks, and then the very simple system of like either building a building or hiring somebody, and then your next two steps are very easy, and putting that into a much more dynamic kind of board where every game you play, the board's going to kind of develop itself differently. Yeah, definitely, definitely a great move.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Well, best of luck to you. We'll be watching. I'll be in. I mean, I'll
Thank
see
you.
you guys at Origins too. Looking forward to talking about your travel day while you launch
Yeah.
the Kickstarter.
It's gonna be interesting. Luckily, it's just me and Helena traveling, and Josh will be, home base, like there to put out any fires that could come up. But also FAQ.
FAQ.
That's what it's there for.
Go to the FAQs.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Start at the FAQs.
All right. So should we jump into the title of the day, which is comic books?
Yeah.
Big shift. I mean, unless you got comic books in Deep Sea, then it's going to be a hard shift.
We've talked about it. I don't want to get away.
Put one of my favorite shirts on for it.
Yeah, look at you.
Nice.
Come on.
So, I said it was a kind of a loaded title because comic book series. So how did you take that to mean, and how you prepared your list and all that stuff? And how'd you prepare your list?
Me personally?
Sure. Yeah, do it.
I suggested it because I think that it's a pretty broad topic, and like the way I interpreted it is to mean, any sort of panel art series, which could go anywhere from, Spider-Man to, something more, something like Mouse or something like that, like any kind of graphic novel series, and like as specific as like one or two books or something, or something as broad as kind of like the compendium of Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
That's kind of how I looked at it. Hopefully you guys did similarly.
Yeah,
Because-
I'm there with you.
Yeah. So I took some from a few different periods. Like, I have always been a comic book fan, and different styles of comic books. So yeah, over the years, I don't know. I definitely have some favorites. So they made the list.
So my history with it is that early 90s, I started collecting the cards, and then got into, I still have the whole collection of Marvel cards, the 1990s and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then started collecting comics and all that. But somewhere around the death of Superman is where I started going, I'm starting to see the marketing stuff behind it more than all that. And then some Image, like gold covers, platinum covers, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of got out of the reading of them since then. And then, of course, still continue to consume media of it, but I no longer really dive into comics that much. Although just last month, I finally grabbed the Last Ronin comic and started reading that. And so, not to jump on anything, but so part of me still kind of wants to jump back into it and stuff. I need to get into the mode again. I've always loved the comic book world and all. So my memories and stuff and my list is going to be old. Well, old in compared to today's time or whatever. It's going to be kind of in that genre, basically.
I don't think mine is very current. I've got some stuff from the last 10 years, but not super current.
Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's start.
Oh, okay.
Sean, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So, all right. These are not always in exactly the right order, but I would say my number one I would start with is got to be Batman. Just Batman in general. Like I grew up, well, I mean, Michael Keaton's Batman had a big influence on me, and I got really into the comics. And like I would say for a long time I was a Joker fan and like loved Joker comics specifically, and went after that. But eventually I did fall in love with the Dark Knight. And in fact, like if I had to pick one of them, I would probably pick Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, because that's like, everybody's kind of like, I don't know, dark fantasy of old grizzled Batman, coming out of retirement for one last hurrah. Such a great story. But I would say just in general, Batman, and with a 5A being Joker in general. But yeah.
Interesting.
So did the Killing Joke push you away or towards the Joker more?
Probably that was in my, teenage angst years where I was like, oh, the Joker's so cool. He's such a bad guy. So that was probably a time where I was like a little bit more of a Joker fan. That and like dark stuff like Arkham Asylum. Whoop, I'm gonna stop.
Oh no, I was just saying.
No, keep going. We're waving a Matt.
I was saying hi to Matt. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't stopping you.
But different, yeah. I would say though, Killing Joke, definitely when I first read it, I would have been a Joker fan, almost definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it was so darker than most other things at that time that was mainstream anyway, that it like blew everybody away.
Yeah.
Especially Barbara.
Yeah, for sure.
Too soon? Yeah, I mean, can't argue with Batman.
It's tough. It's tough to argue with Batman. So definitely one of the ones I read most consistently, especially in my sort of impressionable comic book, teenage years. Like when I was into Batman, I was in around grade 8 and grade 9. And I remember in grade 9, that's like first year of high school for us. And my mom had bought me these Batman shorts. She had bought me like one leg was like Batman. The other leg was just like black. I don't know what it was. And I was like, can I wear these to high school? Like, is this cool? And I wore them one day to high school and I was like, no, this is not cool. But I love Batman that much that I was like, if I can pull this off, I think now I could wear them, ironically at least.
Oh,
Evan, the cool thing about comics is that it has closed captioning. You could read what he's saying.
That's true. Very true.
You don't have to read it in your head in that voice.
Yeah.
Comics are a very specific. It's a very specific reading skill because you're left to interpret a lot from the image, not the speech bubble, right? You got to look in the background. You got to look at the progression. You got to look at the colors. You got to look at the way things are presented in art. Before, like, you can read what's in that bubble, but if you're not looking at stuff, you're going to miss a lot of the context clues that go along with it.
Yeah, if it was just script, it would be. Yeah, it wouldn't be half as good. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was another dark one.
Yeah.
I mean, they all tend to kind of, but still, yeah.
Yeah.
Reading the words is cheating. Some comics you almost can. Some comics you don't need to. But yeah.
Death in the Family. Yeah.
Yeah, brutal.
Very cool. Mike, you want to go next?
Yeah, I had an order actually, but I feel like going out of order now.
Oh,
No,
hold
I'm
on. You can't do that. Here's why. I'm going out of order.
So
which is
we both
totally
go out of
unusual
order?
for me. So now you have to go in order. You don't have to, but you should.
Yeah, no, I can't. I have to do it. I have to go out of order now.
Fine.
Just because there are two. So my series, my comic book series, I looked at it more like the overarching. I mean, whatever. I don't want to step on anything, but the overarching series of one is one thing. But there's those series that come into play every now and then. And one of my favorites, to piggyback off of Sean, was Batman. Obviously, I mean, I just started watching the animated series with Luca this
Nice.
weekend, and they actually today asked me if they could watch Batman again, which was great. So I love the Batman genre as a thing. The Metal was a great series. Like they started doing new stuff more recently, but Hush, which Matt just talked about. The Hush comic series, that was so, I mean, it was penciled by Jim Lee. It had a familiarity with the characters in a way that was just, it really was this really cool new villain that hadn't, like, you hadn't really had a new villain in a while. And then they gave you this Hush character, and you were just, wait a minute, who's this guy? Like, what's going on? You're trying to figure out who's Hush. I loved that series. I haven't watched the DC animated of it, but I grabbed the, I mean, I have their show and tell, and I just got to move shit around because I'm going out of order. This is awful. I got the trade of it.
Ooh.
I mean, even that cover.
Yeah.
If you haven't read Hush, it's worth every minute of reading this thing. It's amazing. And in that series, one of my favorite, there's two my favorite comic book covers. One is Superman standing looking over Metropolis on, ultimately a gargoyle on top of a building, and the other one was Batman 608, where he's standing on the gargoyle looking, and they're reversed. If the Superman one, if Batman's looking this way, Superman's looking that way. And if you put them both together, you got the Guardian of Gotham and the Guardian of Metropolis together. The series is fantastic. And I mean, it's Jim Lee, which,
Right.
come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you haven't read Hush, I highly recommend this series. That's my first.
Very nice.
Have you read it, Sean? You read it?
I've not read Hush actually. Like, I think Hush came out sort of when I was past my Batman phase, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So I should. But
more
on your
recent, right? When did it come out?
I'm looking up now.
By more recent, I mean like not in the 90s.
It's probably a decade ago, I would say.
Yeah. But on your recommendation, I will go check it out because you made it sound pretty good.
Yeah, it's worth the read. It's a it's not a long read, but it's a good one. It says, if this is accurate, it's December of 2016. That could be the first comic in the series. So I'll say somewhere around. Yeah, I said about a decade ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's worth the read. I mean, it's pretty iconic.
Great. Yeah, I will definitely check it out.
Okay, so I'm gonna say mine. This was my number one fandom when I was collecting comics. I was more on the Marvel side, even though I like Batman, loves Superman, but X-Men, those are my favorite. I mean, Jim Lee, by the way, again.
So
several.
that's what I was going to talk about when I started leaning into my why did I pick certain series. That really got me into comics, especially because of the chase covers. Yeah, because they had the 4 different covers. They had the one that you could open up that had all the covers.
Yeah.
It was that series that got me into Jim Lee. It was that series that got me into comics. but I couldn't keep, because then you had Gambit and you had a whole bunch of spin-offs.
Yeah, I mean, I was Uncanny is what I was into before it came out. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, they're all shiny right now,
Yeah, yeah.
I came into it whenever they were doing the whole scroll thing. Like that's why that's a scroll. That's not spoilers, but and all that stuff. But I also got like first appearance of Psylocke, Brags and stuff.
But you're
But
talking Secret Wars?
yeah, so like I came in at that point, and then of course when they started the number one, just X-Men, I was like all over that and stuff.
Yeah.
But the world of X-Men is what really. It doesn't matter which book it's in. It's the mutant issue that was really, pulled me in, because before then it was just, to me it was just like, oh, this one superhero has this one villain and they fight and blah blah blah. Their stories were contained, whereas what happened with X-Men was like a global and had to do with virtues and villainy, and on a surface like human surface that was real and relatable. And yeah, so X-Men is probably going to be forever my comic book top notch one there.
It's your number 5 though.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm pulling a mic.
It's easy to do.
I never read the X-Men comic books, but I was a big fan of the animated series.
Yeah, which was really, really good.
Yeah.
I've watched the new season that came out. Have you seen the new season?
No, I haven't seen the new one yet.
They do a really good job of matching the style and all that stuff previously, but because it's been so long, I'm like, okay, yeah, you've matched it, and it's still going well, and there's the story fun to watch and all. But I now know that the animation could be a lot cooler. Like I almost want to see an Arcane kind of feel or something in X-Men world,
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, same voices too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same theme song.
Yeah.
Okay, that's important.
Yeah, that was in the game too, the video game.
Yeah, I mean, there's almost no change. You can't tell the difference. It looks exactly the same going right through it. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I knew. But yeah, so X-Men. That's that's the first one I'm gonna talk about.
Go on. We'll loop back around?
Yeah, we'll go to Sean for number 4.
Oh, number 4 for me is going to be Fables. Are you familiar with Fables?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's a really interesting one where it's like, the setting is modern day New York, but the main characters are all like Snow White and the Big Bad Wolf and Pinocchio and Geppetto, and Prince Charming is a character. And so you've got all these fantasy characters that are kind of trying to live under anonymity in New York, and not to appear as if they are the fantasy characters that they are. And what's funny is they've got this farm upstate New York where all the animals that like the 3 little pigs, for example, who can't just blend in with society, have to go up and live on this farm. So like all the beasts and creatures live up there. And like I love this series. I thought it was like really creative and really interesting, and I stuck with it for a long time. Like it went, there was like this overarching story that went through, which was this war between kind of the fantasy world and all of these characters in exile. And then after that, it kind of went in some different weird directions. But like they had like these one-off little storylines that were great in it, and I just thought it was like so creative. And it was a very it still had a real comic book feel to it, but it felt very different than like superhero type comic books and stuff
Mm.
like that. Yeah. So
I
yeah, I love
never
that.
read that. I never read that one, but I always picked up the books in comic book stores and looked at the covers and opened them up and looked at the art because it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love that art style.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful, and like really interesting storytelling. And then like it's almost kind of like like if you've ever seen Cabin in the Woods, and how Cabin in the Woods has all these like little Easter eggs and nods to fans of horror movies. Well, these series have a similar sort of thing, but for like fans of like fantasy stories and stuff like that, and like fairy tales, in
All right,
general.
I'll check
So
it out.
yeah,
Cool.
it's a neat story. I really like.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike, what you got
great
for your
stuff.
4?
I'm gonna stick in the Batman world for a minute.
Nice.
Yeah. And another one, so when we were doing the Batman game, I revisited Batman the Animated Series, and then I only watched this series once other than when I revisited it, but it's Batman Beyond. And there's an entire series of Batman Beyond, but there's two. There's one that continues Terry in Neo Gotham, and Terry McGinnis who takes up the mantle. And I almost appreciate Batman Beyond a little bit more because, like you were saying with the Dark Knight, where Bruce came back for like one last hurrah, right? This is Bruce at the end. Like he can't do it anymore. The beginning of the series, if you watch episode 1 of Batman Beyond, the animated, and it's basically the same exact lineup, Bruce Timm and all of them that did the animated series then did this one, and they created such cool parallels to what we were used to with the animated series into Batman Beyond. But it only lasted a couple years. So now there's the comics kind of took over and told more stories of Terry. But then there's a sub series where Tim Drake becomes Batman Beyond. There's this, it's not really like a time jump, but something happens, and now Tim Drake is now brought into this, and it's such a cool, I mean, it's really neat. If you can get like this one, this is part of the Joker. Somehow the Joker has returned. So you're following Terry McGinnis around. Terry, whatever. And then this series is my favorite series with Tim as
Wow.
what happens, how Tim gets into the Batman Beyond suit and what's going on. So if you can find these out, there's 3 of them. I like this series really a lot.
Batman Beyond sounds very cool.
Nope, those are the people. These are the names. There you go. That's this is one. Brave New World's one. But yeah,
Nice.
it's a great series. I think this one kind of does a lot with some nostalgia factors too, if you're a Batman fan with certain characters, but keeps it in that futuristic Batman Beyond Neo Gotham kind of, because they built up, right? Like it's a really cool. I love that universe, and I wish things about that universe. But yeah, the Batman Beyond series, and they revamped a whole bunch of the comics. The artists were just killer, and they continued Terry's story throughout. So if you're a Batman Beyond fan, or you want something that's just a little bit of a taste, grab the ones with Tim Drake as Batman. It's a good series.
Well, that's really interesting.
Very
I
cool.
love Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond was so fantastic. It was so good.
Yeah, I'd only seen the animation, the series, and the movie, the animated movie, and stuff like that. So that's cool. I've never read the comics itself. Are they vastly different
The comics for Batman Beyond?
between the animation and the reading itself?
No, it's the same. I mean, the art style is obviously completely different. Like
Sure.
it's more modern and it's clear.
Right.
But like some of it is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really
Like
cool.
it's just pretty stuff. But it's still, if you know the series, there's some nods as you're going through with the vernacular, like shui was a big thing that they used in the series because they thought that was going to be a popular saying in the future. So they used a lot of that stuff in the
Shui.
comics as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, now that I've heard it, I hope it does become very popular because that is
Shui. Yeah, it's very
way.
shui. Yeah. Instead of saying cool, you say shui.
Sure.
Ah,
I also walk around with my pockets turned inside outward like
Inside
they
out,
did
sure,
Back in
sure.
the Future. Yeah. I know that's 10 years old at this point, but
Did either of you watch the Flash series, the WB Flash series?
mm,
are you talking about the one, the more recent one, or like the
Yeah.
old one? Okay.
No, the more
I watched
they're
as
the
much as
same.
I could for about, I think, season 3 or 4,
Okay.
and then I ran away as fast as I could.
They did a little thing. They used some of the vernacular in Batman Beyond in the future stuff. I love the Flash series. I hate that it ended. But I'm with you there. I watched the whole thing. And right in the middle it kind of got wonky because it seemed like it was just a rinse repeat. Like, Barry, stop doing the shit, man. You're fucking everything up. And
I
then it
mean,
was
not
the
to get
same
into the
kind of
rant
thing.
again. There was an episode where he froze time.
Yep.
And ran around in super speed during that frozen time because he was moving so fast. And he could bring people into that. Basically, at that point, you're a god. Nothing else after that he should never have a problem with.
He didn't
right.
freeze
Anybody
time.
comes in, Captain Cold's a joke. He's a dude with a gun. It's just ridiculous.
Are you saying they jumped the shark? They froze the
Yes.
shark?
They jumped the shark and ate it, and yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it. I actually like the characters and the actors and stuff in it, but the
Yeah.
writing was just they didn't know what they were doing with power. They just wrote themselves in the corners and then
They did.
pretended like it never happened. So
They did.
um,
My favorite superhero series is Smallville. Smallville was written so cleverly and so smart. And there are moments in the Flash and the other ones that were really good, but yeah, I'd call it a guilty pleasure. I watched the
I
whole
liked
thing.
it all the way to season 7, and then Luther leaving felt so empty to me. But
Yeah,
I still
but
watched it
finish
all the
it
way
off.
through.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I did. In fact, I have all the DVD sets. So
I will agree with that 100%. So many things are just like, no.
we are digressing.
Yeah. So yeah, Batman Beyond.
I also don't want to
Any of
get
it, but
someone's
if you do the Tim Drake series, there's 3 of them. They're good.
So this one it's I guess it's kind of a cheat. It's because I haven't finished reading them. I always want to go back to them. But I love the world. I love the series. I love the art. And I mentioned it earlier.
Oh
yeah. Oh yeah.
In fact, I'm rewatching the documentary that's on YouTube about the artist Michael Mingle, his last name, Mignola. No. But the artwork alone makes me gravitate toward, because it's such a its own look and stuff. In fact, the same artist did a Batman series. That's where he got from the documentary. He says that's where he first does that style, which was pretty insane.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it weirdly fits Batman's gothic style and stuff like that, But I love the whole Lovecraft world shoved into this other universe with what they're doing, stuff with it. I love the idea of, hey, it's your destiny to become evil and rule the world. It's almost like a reverse Darth Vader where he just like fights against it instead of embraces it. But that whole, I like having the character have this weight over him, this thing that's like always present, always a danger for them to go too far, do something, keeps them in the light, so to speak. I like that kind of storytelling. Also, just like the characters are insane. They're just
Yeah.
really weird. When
Abe
you get into some of
Abe
the
is weird.
yeah, when you get into some of the bad guys and stuff like that, you're just like, okay, like you just have to accept it and go move on. But I love the whole thing. I also really like the initial movies and stuff. I don't like the last movie; that was insanely bad. But yeah,
Good series.
I don't think I've seen a Hellboy movie or read a Hellboy comic, but
oh
I
really?
do. Yeah, I do want to. I'm intrigued by it. As you say, like the art does draw me in, but I think Hellboy came around later in my comic book reading days, so I just didn't get to it.
I think it came out in '93, something like that. But it really wasn't like a huge hit until later in the
Yeah,
'90s. I think.
yeah, that's probably it. That
Yeah.
by the time it would have like filtered down to me, I was less reading, less reading.
Yeah, the first movie, what's his name? He was on Sons of Anarchy.
Perlman, Ron
Ron Perlman.
Right.
His two movies are the best
Yeah.
ones. The
Yeah.
first one is very close to, not I don't know, very close, but it's close to the comic books and stuff like that. The second one veers away from a lot of stuff, but it's actually my favorite of the two movies.
Hmm.
Strangely enough, but yeah. Yeah, Grandma.
Is that the one with the twins? Is the second one the one
Yes.
with the twins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Elven twins. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're very good, and it's such a fun little world or big world actually. Yeah, that's my number 4.
Nice, nice.
Number 3.
Number 3. All right. So my number 3, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's Why the Last Man. Ever heard of
No.
that or seen the TV show? They made a TV show. I never watched the TV show, but it was like this limited series. There was like 12 issues or something like that. And
The Last
uh,
Man is what it's called.
Y, like the letter Y and then the last man. So it's like the premise of it is basically some worldwide disease kills off like every man on earth, every male on earth, and except for this one guy, York, and this one monkey that is his like travel companion. And basically, it's kind of like this semi, post-apocalyptic world of like what would happen with this one guy kind of navigating his way through it and like, you know, basically, why, like tracking down the mystery of what's going on and why it happened and stuff like that. But it was really interesting, and it kind of got to this really cool um climax, and then it had this little denouement at the end of it that was like fun to, it was just like a fun little closing couple of pages, which was great, but showed kind of the hero many years in the future, which was nice and ended on a hopeful note. So
Huh. That's
yeah,
pretty cool. I haven't heard of that one, but I like the artwork and stuff in it. So, and it
yeah,
sounds interesting.
it's a really interesting story. So yeah, it's worth checking out definitely, and like it reads super quick. Like as I say, it's like about 12, big issues, and that's about it. So
Yeah. Why the Last Man?
it was a good,
Very cool.
yeah,
Cool.
that's my number 3.
All right, do you
All right,
want
Mike.
to let Chris and Sean now?
Hi, Chris. Hi, Soen.
Hi,
Hi.
my name's Sean.
Hi,
Nice to
my
meet you.
name is Luca.
Nice to meet you. I saw some of your art today. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the playground.
Yeah, sure. We showed it earlier.
Really nice.
This is Then tell it.
You tell him, yeah. We already talked about it earlier.
This is the slide. This is the climber. Those are paw prints.
A climber.
This is a singing boom, and this is a slide. This is a
That-
snake slide.
It's a snake slide.
It's snake slide.
Only snakes can go down it.
Hold it over here. You gotta hold the camera up here. The camera's from this thing. There you go. There you go.
This is the slide.
There you go.
This is the slide. 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 This
No, you're holding it down here. You gotta hold it up here. But yeah, we looked at it earlier, and they loved it. Everyone loved it.
Hey, why my arm always here?
Because it's a
He-
mirror.
yeah,
we
he-
went over this last time. Yeah,
He's trying to figure
fascinated
out
that he holds
your.
up this
He's
arm,
trying
but
to
it's
figure out
different
your
in this one.
setup.
It's my setup. It's wonky.
Why my arm always here?
All right, I'm gonna talk about my next comic. Do you want to go over that way?
Mm.
You want to say bye and go over there,
Luca.
or do you want to stay
Yeah.
for one more? Okay,
Just joke.
you stay for one more.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm staying in the DC world, because this was right around the time with your X-Men series that I was getting into comics, and I was getting every comic of every series that was coming out. And this one was definitely, it became more iconic, just a Superman symbol as things happened with Dad, and Dad passed away, and Christopher Reeve was in that he was paralyzed from the horse thing, and I attributed a lot of Superman to my dad for other than your typical reasons. But when this had come out way before, and it's still just one of my favorites. It was that hunting down all the different ones. Yeah, the death of Superman. I think up into the death of Superman and the series after that was Funeral for a Friend. I think that whole thing was absolutely bonkers iconic. And then they did the Return, and you had Cyborg and Superboy and the Eradicator and all that stuff and I was still invested because I wanted to know what actually was going on with, the black suit, long-haired Superman at that time. But looking back at it, and like to Chris's point earlier, like the marketing and how they got you, that was like the epitome of how that all worked. But right up until, like, I still have the poster that came in the Funeral for a Friend thing with all of them holding the casket, and like that whole series was absolutely. And they just recently released, I haven't even opened it yet, but they just released a hard cover
Oh
of
wow!
all unseen, like some of the stuff is it didn't make it into the
Very
comic
cool.
books. This series was just straight up bonkers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I still have my
But I can't
Death of Superman issue. Like, it's in terrible shape, but it's still sealed. It's got the armband in there and
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah.
death one was black, just like the hardcover with the red blood
Yeah.
drip, and then the white one. I still have a couple of the white ones that were sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just such a weird return. I get it. I get it. Like, obviously you had to bring him back. There at that point you're not killing Superman, but it was just a weird return for me. But leading up to it, especially the funeral for, like, the battle with Doomsday is great. I thought them just wrecking through, like, it just showed you that he was, can you stop?
Yeah.
That he was, like, he got hurt, right? But then the Funeral for a Friend and how they were dealing with the aftermath of what had happened it's such a cool series. And just iconic for me. So that'll be my number 3. Although it probably was the most impactful of my list. But I think I still think it's still a fun read. It's a good story.
Yeah, I have all of them too. I have what you have right there, the unpackaged one, so you can read it, and the still sealed one, of course.
Yeah.
I had mentioned it earlier as one of the reasons why I stopped collecting comic books, like you said. Not because of the story. In fact, I agree with you. The Funeral for a Friend is amazing. It handled so well. And then I didn't even mind them coming back with different versions that would take his place, or the kid and the cyborg and all that stuff. It was just bringing them back to undo the whole thing. As Pablo says here, the comic book that killed Death just undid it all. It's like going back in time and say it never happened, kind of thing. That's what did it for me. But up until then, it's a great series. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when I asked you if you're talking about Secret Wars, the Secret Wars was the thing that killed it for me, because that's when they started bringing back characters that made an impact when they died, and I was, they were just a Skrull, and you wait, what? That means nothing is true anymore. You can do whatever the hell you want. So, like, just like that was the thing. Like, this bringing him back was like, all right, he's Superman. He's iconic. You got to bring him back. Like that, there was a whole thing. Cool. And then the story of Steel being in one of the buildings that fell, like all of that kind of made sense. But then with the Skrulls was like, well, it's all made up. None of it's real. They're going to kill somebody, see how everyone reacts. Oh, wait, everyone really liked them. Let's bring them back. Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's coming again, so be prepared for that.
Not happy about it. That's when I started, like, I lost it with comics for a while. Was just like none of it's real anymore. You can do whatever you want. And there's no, like, when I was in college, one of my writing professors was, you could write whatever you want. Just, I will automatically fail you if the end of your story, oh, it was all a dream. No, if you want to kill somebody, you kill them. Like, if you want to do something, you make that impact. You don't just go, oh, it's all made up. Like, it takes away from all of that. And that's exactly what that series did.
I was going to bring this up, actually. I think the MCU did a great job with Gamora, because they didn't bring her back and go, oh, she's back with them and all that stuff. She went off on her own, letting you know this is a different Gamora, right? You really did lose Gamora. They didn't bring back Black Widow. They've kept those deaths real. Mm-hmm. And I'll say the MCU, the film thing, it's very good that they've done that. So hopefully they'll continue that.
Yeah, this was kind of similar. Like they kind of burned it all for a while, right? Like they just like.
I mean, DC's been burned and brought back, what, 3 times now? 4 times? Yeah, I've lost count.
Yeah. So Death of Superman, the fight up into it, but then the funeral for a friend was just. I mean, if you're a Superman fan, you know what Superman means, but then you have the funeral was all of them like kind of dealing with it. Like, what are they going to do? Was just a great series.
Yeah.
And it's never been done well again in animated or movie form, unfortunately. Because it's always shoved together real quick, and it doesn't deserve it doesn't deserve what it's trying to do. So, all right. Well, moving away from Superman, but not from Red Capes.
No, now Chris is going to talk.
I will do my number 3, which is Spawn.
Ooh, iconic! What an iconic comic!
Yeah, 4 of them.
He was so cool.
Yeah,
Spawn, again, a character that has something over their head, right? His whole deal was he's back from hell, and he has all this power, ridiculous power, except there's a limit. There's a certain limit of power, and once you're out of power, you go back, right? Now, I know since then they've messed with it, and I expected it. At this point, I expected, like, that's not going to last forever. But at least the character in the beginning felt that pressure, right? And I really, of course, it's McFarlane, so I love that. I love that whole style and stuff. He kept it up for, I think, like 21 issues, 20 something. Once he handed it off to another artist, I also stopped. So I've got like the first 22 issues. Behold the visual. Ooh, nice.
First vision. I'm trying to find something that goes along with what you're saying, but I can't find it right now.
Then there was some cool thing.
But of course, Image Comics coming out, I think I grabbed all of their number ones whenever it started. Like Shadowhawk, yes, Savage, all the different ones that came out. You just, Wildcats, and Spawn's the only one I kept up with for a while because the story was really good. The other ones kind of just they're all not all of them. I got another one that might stand out, but
did you get that one?
What issue? Oh, 311? No. Like I said, I stopped getting them around like 22.
They did that when Chadwick Boseman passed away.
Oh, wow.
They re-released it with the Wakanda thing for the Spawn.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you're a Spawn fan, this is a pretty damn. It's got him up there too. It's a pretty iconic comic to try and grab if you can get it.
Then was
that's not even the same universe.
It was done by McFarlane too.
There was something cool long-term American
cool.
point.
So that's my number 3. Spawn, one of my favorites.
All right.
Of course.
So
Nope.
My number two. All right. So if you know me, you know I'm a big horror fan, and
Okay.
I love the idea
Oh, sit.
of a George A. Romero style zombie apocalypse, which is what The Walking Dead was all about. Like,
Mm,
yeah, Robert
Thanks.
Kirkman was like a huge fan of like Night of the Living Dead, and what he kind of wrote was like that he wanted, that story not to end when like the credits rolled. He wanted to see what would happen, and like that really is kind of like how
okay.
the Romero zombie movies were. Like they would end without really any resolution. Like Dawn
Yeah.
of the Dead, Day of the Dead, like nothing is really resolved. They're just characters living further and further into this new reality. And so Walking Dead for me was like, that idea. And like I followed it for quite a while. Like I would say that's one of the comics I followed for like the longest time. And I didn't even go that far into it.
Thank
I
you.
think I went, for maybe 30 or so, of the compendiums, and then
Mm.
kind of trailed off there. So I think it's still going. I'm not even sure if it's finished
I
right
think they
now,
ended
but
it.
they did end it. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. But I thought it was great. I thought it was great. And like I mean like the best zombie,
Oh, I got tea.
media, the humans are the real monsters, the things you
Yeah.
really have to be worried about. So lots of good, compelling storylines that went on through there. So yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, I picked it up specifically because of the series. I loved the series at the
Mm.
time, and I was like, okay, let's see what the original comic looks like. So I picked up the first volume, and I read. I want to say maybe halfway. Then I was like, oh, it's diverging from what I already know. And I was like,
Mhm.
like I'm getting what I want from the series, so I stopped.
Yeah.
But I I I can always enjoy reading and then seeing the thing. If I see
Mhm.
the thing, I just don't have the motivation to read the thing. So that's the only
Yeah.
reason I didn't continue. But it was very good. Yeah.
I was as is not often the case, like I was a fan of the series. Like I thought they did a good job. I thought the acting was good, and then they went off kind of in some different directions that they had to do. You know what I mean? As like, they're two different mediums, so you can't keep them the exact same. I didn't follow the series to its conclusion either, so
I didn't either.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
same.
I stuck with it for a bit, and I enjoyed it, but after a while, it's just, yeah, you go
I
watch
got
other
The,
things and you're
I
I used to watch the series religiously, and then COVID happened, and they were on that. They put all the recording was on a hiatus, right? And then
hmm
when the series came back,
Hey, back.
hi.
Oh, my diaper broke.
Oh, that's great.
Walking Dead Risk.
So you have to go upstairs and get a new diaper.
The whole thing's a risk.
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
That's funny.
what the?
I'm not. I can't do it right now. So you have to go upstairs. Go grab mom.
What time do it, Harry?
Okay, I'll try not to do it without you.
Okay.
So when they started filming again and they re-released when they came back to the series, they the Return of the Walking Dead's coming back November or whatever the hell it was. It felt like they could only have one actor in studio at a time reading their lines, and then they had another actor like reading to a wall, and it just fell so they ended up doing like very solo-esque kind of journey stories for each of the characters that felt disconnected from what was going on. It was, and then I mean the spin-off's cool. I love Daryl, like Daryl Dixon's. I just love his character, but it started getting hard to watch at that point, and then I just fell off. I stopped watching it.
and Daryl Dixon doesn't even exist in the comic.
Right. He was yeah. He's just we got to get Norman Reedus to do something cool.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think they intended him to be around for long, and people loved him so much they were like, "I'm leaving if you kill Daryl." So, you work with what's working. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually stayed longer than most people did. I got past the first Negan appearance. But when it got to them defeating him and what they did with that, I was like, no, I'm out. Can't do that. I can't.
That's right around. I think the last one I read, Negan was like chained to a hospital bed. Like they had just defeated him.
Yeah, and I was like,
Don't do
no.
it.
Yeah,
Sorry, this is not the time to find your humanity.
right.
Nope.
Yeah.
I was out.
You were watching it to see how long he could be a pet, though, right?
Now, I stopped at that point. When they didn't kill him, I was like, oh, well, then I'm done.
I kept going, and it was more like embarrassment, like, oh my God, this guy. But then it was like, he can't stay this way for long. Like, they got to do something. He's going to do something. And you just kept watching it I kept watching it for that reason. And then it was just, it just got weird.
I thought, I hope he escapes and kills everybody at night because they all deserve it. 'Cause that's what you get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was upset.
Great series.
Anyway,
and
now we're talking about series and stuff instead of comics, but yeah.
The comics are great. There's those board games too they're the ones that are based on the AMC series, but there's the ones that are based on the comics.
Mm-hmm.
One's the prison, and one, I don't know if it has a subtitle, but they're very like, you're making noise and you got to leave a trail from where you're walking, and then I loved the game. I thought it was really well done, but it had all Kirkman's art. It was that style rather than like stills from the History Channel or AMC, whatever it was.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Great art.
All right. What you got, Mike?
All right. These next two are a little bit not mainstream, or maybe they're mainstream, but they're not DC mainstream or Marvel mainstream. One of them is Image Comics, but I doubt anyone's heard of it. Actually, these are both Image. I had no idea that was Image. No shit. Interesting. All right, I'll talk about this one first. So there is a 4 volumes. Well, there was a lot of comics, but a 4 volume. If you want to not hunt down the comics and grab the trade paperbacks, there is a series called Die. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay, so do you notice anything? Do you notice anything just right out of the gate?
The shapes, colors,
right? Triangles and squares. Okay, and there's a hex in there. So this is comic 1, Fantasy Heartbreaker.
Huh. I don't think I've ever seen these.
No.
So I just want to read. I don't want to give too much about what's going on, but I want to read the back of this one. It's just a short little paragraph. In the 90s, 6 teenagers disappeared into a fantasy role-playing game. Only 5 returned. Nearly 30 years later, these broken adults are dragged back to discover the game isn't finished with them yet.
Ooh.
So you start this series where you're these kids playing basically a D&D game, and they get sucked into that world, and then they get out, but one of them doesn't get out, and then 30 years later, like they're back in it, and the series just takes off. It's phenomenal. It's really, really, I mean, kind of Jumanji, right?
Yeah,
Yep, they get sucked into their thing. But they're just really good. They're really fun, especially if you like that background, the D&D kind of nature. And I want to grab something that isn't necessarily like.
So the shapes are all the dice.
So what?
The shapes were all the dice.
Correct.
That you play in D&D. Yeah.
Correct.
That's cool.
So the art, yeah, and they're characters, right? Like when they go into the world, they are their kids. There's the barbarian, there's the archer, like they have their things. But that's way too spoilery.
I want to get Jumanji.
They get Jumanji. But yeah, the flashback series and the modern, and like when they're in the game, just the art style. Hi, buddy. Did you get it all done?
Yeah, there's a new style of writing. I think it was coined in 2013 around then called lit RPG. It's kind of the same idea where people get sucked into wow, that's good. Get sucked into games and stuff.
Wow.
I'm starting to be a pretty big fan of the books. I just like the idea of reading about your characters leveling up and stuff like that,
They have on the back of each one of these, they have all the variant covers that they had released, which is right up your alley. They got me. But this was one of them. Like the line art, right? The difference between the character and the player kind of thing. They just did a really, I don't know if it's translating because I can't fucking see anything. Yeah, like that piece.
Yeah.
It's really like the hex on the eye.
Oh, that's cool.
It's beautiful. They're really, really well done. It's a killer story. If you hadn't heard about it, I didn't know it was Image until I took the spine. But yeah, you can grab these. I mean, I'm sure they're out there. They tied it up. I'm pretty sure 4 was the end. But yeah, if you haven't read this series, it's really well done.
Write that one down.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, I will say this one. I guess someone already in the comments was like, "Has someone mentioned this yet?" But have to mention the classic.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Sure.
I mean, so this was one of the experiences where I got to read it first and then saw the movie. I knew the movie was coming. I was like, "Oh, that looks interesting." So before it got here, I went and read the. I'm so glad I did too, because it's not a very different story, but there's enough differences to make it entertaining enough to watch. Although some scenes in the movie are actually almost panel for panel in the way they do it and stuff. But I mean, one of my favorite things, I've talked about this before, is whenever I can understand why the bad guy is doing what they're doing. And maybe I don't agree with it. Maybe I'd still fight against it and stuff, but it makes sense. They're not just a wahahaha bad guy, or I do it because I'm evil bad guy. Like they think what they're doing is right, even though they know it's a bad thing. They know they're willing to cross a line to get the greater good, that kind of thing. Those kind of bad guys are amazing to me. And this one was just perfect. It was well done, beautiful story. And I have to say, the movie and the series, the HBO series, if you've seen that, does it really, really good justice.
I haven't seen the series. I saw the movie, much like you. Like I knew the movie was coming up, and it had been this, like The Watchmen. Like it's kind of like if you're a comic book fan, you kind of have to read it at some point. So I got it before the movie and read through it, and it's dense. One of my favorite parts of it is the little sub story of the sailor who is like lost at sea and has to strap together bodies, like make a raft out of bodies to get to shore. Just a dark, like little tale in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff in there that they don't put in the movie, which you couldn't fit it all, but yeah.
Cool.
Good series. Good pick.
Someone had to see it.
Yeah. I definitely looked at it. I was like, oh, Watchmen. All right. Well, my last one, I don't know. This is like definitely for me. It's like such a solid place in my heart. I will be interested to see your thoughts on this, or if you even know it, but I'm sure you do. But for me, growing up, I read all of these over and over again, and it's Tintin, The Adventures of Tintin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In my family, growing up, like Tintin is how I like learned about like different parts of the world and different interesting things, and like I don't know, like those books just like hold such a place in my heart. And Tintin is such a like hero. He's just like such a heroic, noble character, and all the different characters in it have their own kind of like quirks and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, for me, the art, Hergé, his art is just I don't know, just so iconic and stuff. And so yeah, that one is for sure number one for me. So it's not a traditional comic or comic series or anything like that, but definitely holds a special place for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only know of its existence. I know very little of it.
Yeah. Those are fun ones. I mean, with kids especially, like, I mean, one of the things I think that would be great fun with kids is like reliving the things you enjoyed as a kid. So, like, I mean, that would be a thing I think I would have a lot of fun with kids,
Sure.
is like reliving that series. Because me and my brothers growing up, we always loved that stuff, and like still to this day, we'll give each other like Tintin gifts and stuff like that, like a
Mhm.
mug or something like that, just to. Just the art is so iconic for us. So
Yeah, that's a classic. That's more French and Canadian than it is American, I think.
yeah, definitely Belgium,
Yeah,
but probably I'm sure like filtered its way into Canada maybe more than the States.
yeah.
So
Very
yeah.
cool.
Tin mug. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. The day that Luca could tell me each of the Ninja Turtles by color, it was a
Mhm.
proud moment. I'm reliving that stuff from when I was a kid now with them, and it's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, absolutely, right? Like, why else are you having kids?
Yeah,
Perpetuate the species, I suppose, but
Yeah.
yeah, no.
the greater good.
Yeah.
Didn't I just say that was what villains say?
Yep, that's why I
Very
said
good.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, okay.
That was intentional.
Just making sure
Eastman.
for Teenage Mutant Ninja
Oh,
Turtles.
the Ninja Turtles. Yeah, just they have a shirt. And I might have some articles of clothing with the turtles on it. And I just go over the colors: who's red, who's orange. And they know. Well, Luca knows. Mika's still a little. He just copies Luca all the time. All right. So my number one is also Image, partner with Skybound. I actually have a game with Ian Moss in this universe that the artist and writer has played.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's Daniel Warren Johnson. I've talked about this on the show a couple times, and I fell right into the trap of variant covers, which you'll see why in a second. Just because they're the coolest shit. But the series is called Murder Falcon.
Wow.
Huh.
Cool.
Have you talked
Um,
about this one before?
I have. It's an
Okay.
8 comic series. Like that's the 8th comic.
Okay.
And it's about it has some underlying real world things going on. Like there's someone going through a terminal illness. There's flashbacks that kind of punch you in the face when you don't expect it. But the fantastical nature of this series, where the main character, and this is probably perfect. The main character plays guitar, and when he shreds guitar really good, his spirit animal comes out, and it happens to be Murder Falcon.
He
And
summons some kind of creature or something. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yep. And he ends up putting a band together. Like, look at this cover. It's just so neat.
That's hilarious.
Murder Falcon is fantastic. But then, like, you find out what exactly, like, there's Murder Falcon, all tiny, and there's this big, just bad stuff happening.
If they
But
ever
it's-
make a series out of it, I hope Kurt Russell does Murder Falcon's voice. He
It's
seems like
so
a
damn good.
seems
Kurt
like a
Russell's
Jack
a
It's
Burton
like the
kind
right
of character.
Yeah.
So they did variant covers. And it's so metal that they did variant covers in the style of some iconic metal albums.
Oh, that's funny.
That's really good.
Like this next one's fantastic. Like you should know the cover, the album or the band by the font of the. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so great.
Amazing.
Same story. You don't need anything different. Where's the other one?
That's funny.
Not that one.
Did you say you're making a game of this?
We have one.
And it's published?
No. We
Oh,
have
okay.
a game. It's been a back and forth thing with it. These are all now out of order. Son of a bitch. But yeah, Murder Falcon. Read if you can. I think they have a trade. By now they have to. This is a couple years old. Definitely more modern, but maybe 3-4 years. But read episode 1 and it'll just it hooks you. It hooks you so hard. And then by the end you're just like it's just a great story. They did a great job with it. The art's fantastic. It's amazing. And Murder Falcon is like he's just awesome.
That sounds
Very
really cool.
It's great. I mean it gets sad, right? Like there are parts in it where like it could bring up some stuff depending on, family members or certain things that happen in your life, so it could catch you off guard a little bit, but not much more than like the new Thor did, right, with what she was going through. Like it's got an impact, and it does some really cool shit, but the storytelling is phenomenal and the art is absolutely killer.
Very cool.
So yeah, Murder
Yeah, I
Falcon.
love those covers.
Yeah, the nods to the metal albums. It was such very well done.
Nice.
Yeah, easy read, impactful, but easy read. And it's only 8 episodes or 8 comics.
I like ongoing series, but I also don't mind like a closed series that tells its story and then is done.
Well, you don't have to chase it, right? You don't like you just know like there's your story. Like there's your story.
There's also something attractive to that in that the story could be impactful and have permadeath and all that stuff, right? You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm glad I'm going last because we couldn't let this list go by without saying something about Spider-Man, right?
Spider.
You could.
I mean, there's a whole
Yeah.
universe basically on Spider-Man at this point.
Multiple.
Multiple.
Yeah.
But I really got into it when when McFarlane got into it, and I had a few. I've got some of the. Where is it? It's like right here. I got some of the. Oh no! Dropping comics. That's awful. They're in plastic. It's fine.
I'm reorganized.
I got some of the Carnage ones and stuff like that before the series, but one of the things I like best about Peter Parker is that it's one of the few that you feel like you watched them grow up. And that's kind of my issue. Like if I ever had like, okay, I'm going to start a comic book company and this is the universe is that everyone would actually grow old.
Yeah.
Like you would actually you could be a young kid and stuff, but eventually you'll get married or whatever your story is, right? But you'll see people age and eventually have to retire or die, permadeath, all that stuff. And you could keep a thriving universe like that. You won't get people mad at you and stuff like that. And I know they've done stuff with Peter Parker recently, even with the whole Doc Ock taking over his mind and all that stuff. I know they've done some really weird stuff with him. But just the start of it up to where I was reading, where high school into college and then, adulthood, it was nice seeing that kind of life growth in the actual being a character that you were watching, and then throw on top of all the superhero stuff that was happening to him at the time. So I really like that. I wish that it was a little more like that in some type of universe.
They can't all be Skrulls.
Again, I have I think the first 15 issues of that Spider-Man. It's the whole lizard story, and then Craven comes in, I think, and I can't remember now.
That's it.
Yeah.
That was the black suit. One of them that one there was with gold was one of the iconic covers you wanted to grab. But then there was the one with the black suit, and there was, I think they had a hologram on one of them.
Yeah, and actually, that was one of the first
I can't
times where they
just
made all the
guess.
different variant covers.
I'm gonna go get it.
Like I went and I got that cover. I was like, oh, I'm getting involved in the first steps of a Spider-Man book, and that's awesome. And they're like, yeah, but did you get the platinum one? Yours sucks. And that felt like, oh, okay,
Yep.
great. And there was some other one that was just white or like I could never just get the thing and be part of it. They were always like, oh, there's some super special people that are better than you. And I was just like, screw that. Like that whole thing just killed it for me. And, it's unfortunate, but.
That's why you got to make friends with your friendly local comic book shop and have them do their pre-orders. So you can get like that signed Berserk by, what's his name? Berserker. What's his name? Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah. This book right here, Evan, is filled with all of those cards, including the holograms. And they started in the 1990s. I've got the first 3 series of those cards and many doubles of them as well. But yeah. And the X-Men, all drawn by Jim Lee ones, are in there as well.
Yeah,
and the Masterpiece, the painting version ones, I have all those cards. Yeah.
You know, a lot of those Masterpiece cards, the artist, Joe Jusko, he's from the area. He's from Central New York.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, most of Marvel is from New York.
Sure, yeah.
So I also want to hold this up just because I'm wearing the shirt.
Oh, nice. You have the issue.
And have the actual comic. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And I almost did this one, but I didn't want to do too many X-Men related ones. But the Weapon X series is phenomenal. And I didn't find out. I was reminded as I was going through this that I'm still missing number 74. I have the entire thing, but I'm missing 74. So I started looking online, and I was like, can I find it? So already this is making me get back into this stuff.
God, I can't see.
Sorry.
Any honorable mentions?
I'm sure I have. I mean, look, if I have to put in Asterix Noblesse too, which is another one of those French comedy comic book series, but probably did not make an impact on you guys. But I read a lot of Asterix and Noblesse in my life. That's for sure.
Asterisk and what?
Obelisk. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Please.
Well, little French village that has a magic potion. They're kind of like the gummy bears. They got a magic potion, but it makes them strong to beat up Romans.
Make sure I didn't break anything. Good.
I'm sure.
Mike, any extra ones that popped in your head?
I purposefully left one off. I didn't know if anyone else was going to talk about it because I don't know what you guys read, but I purposefully left off this fantastic series of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Mike Raish, who's one of the co-authors, is also from not far away from Syracuse. I was a fan of the series before I met or knew or anything about the board game. But it is the series that kind of got me in with 3WS because when they were launching their Kickstarter of the game, I had already played the game because they sent Mike Raish a copy of the prototype and he didn't know what to do with it, so he brought it to the local shop, and I knew the shop owner, so we played the prototype before I knew who DeVito was. But this series, if you're not familiar with the series, the whole thing is done in this sepia kind of tone. The Dark Jester. The Jester is my favorite character. But the art, Charles Wilson III, the art is just unreal. And it's kind of Daryl Andrews, a friend of ours, coined it as being Toy Story meets Saving Private Ryan. If you're not familiar with the story, the boy of the story gets kidnapped right in the first couple pages of the series and gets brought into the closet in the bedroom that the toys know as the Dark. and all the toys decide they have to go in to save him. So the 6 main characters go in to save the boy, and just things happen. All the lost toys are in there, and it gets pretty bonkers. But it's got a very World War II feel. It's got the sepia tones throughout. Phenomenal characters, unbelievable art. So if you don't know the series, the comics, they're hard to find. You can still find them. I know there's still a couple at my local shop that are sitting there. But yeah, this is it's a great series. It was 2008. New York Times bestseller, 2008 graphic novel series, comics, and then, But yeah, that was the one I left off because, I mean, maybe Sean read it, so I didn't want to take it away.
Yeah, no, I hadn't, but it sounds really interesting.
I
from you guys, I've gotten a few different good suggestions that I'll have to look into.
Good.
Have you ever read the Max from Image Comics?
What a dick!
No.
Max is such a dick.
Yeah, I love him. I don't know why.
Oh, he's great. It's a great
Yeah.
series, but he's a little troublemaker.
It's a really weird one. It's like, is it in his head? Is it not? Is he just a homeless, crazy person? Is he powerful and all that stuff? It's really cool. Really interesting one. I don't know how it ended up.
I think they're still making it, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what's going on now at this point. And then, of course, I just show that one more.
Deadpool? Is that first Deadpool?
First Deadpool ever, yeah. For his first appearance. And Domino.
Get that in a glass case and graded.
I know. Yeah. I was just getting into New Mutants, but I couldn't take Liefield's feet, so.
Oh, there's some good suggestions there. That Why the Last Man I want to know more about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you reminded me of Fables, so I want to get back into Fables now.
And Died was good too.
Yeah, the first story arc of Fables is amazing, and there are some one-off episodes that are fantastic, just funny different characters and so many nice little fairy tale based Easter eggs, which is neat. So
that's cool.
Are they separate stories for each comic? Do they have 3 or 4 of them or one story? How they separate them out?
Well, so what it largely is there is an overarching story, which is all of the characters kind of blended in together, kind of dealing with life in New York City. I mean, Snow White and the Big Bad Wolf have a romance. The Big Bad Wolf is this hard-nosed, Wolverine style guy who's a detective or whatever, a cop. And it's so you've got those stories going on, and there's kind of an overarching story there, but then they'll have full issues that are just tangents off stories that are just telling the backstory of certain characters, or romances between certain characters, because you've got romances going on between all these different fairy tale characters from way different stories, getting together, and that's really interesting too. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's neat. That's neat for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, I don't know about Luca, but it's getting to be my bedtime.
Yeah, I gotta drive to Ohio tomorrow, so.
Oof.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I got.
Well, thanks for coming on. It was fun.
Oh, guys, always a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time and having me here. I appreciate it, and it was a fun topic. It was fun for me to go back and make my list and everything. So I loved it.
Any chance to break out all the comics and go through them again and think about the stories and all that? That's great.
And hit eBay and realize that you're missing comics, and now you got to buy more.
I know. I'm like, I got to get that one, and then I'm fine. Yeah, and then I've got to get the ones that have been suggested on here. So
yeah, of course you do.
Yeah,
cool. Well, Sean, I'll see you in a couple days.
I'll see you down there, Mike and Chris. I hope I see you soon. Gen Con?
I'll be at Gen Con. Yep.
All right.
Cool.
I'll see you there.
You saying bye already?
Bye, Luca.
Bye.
Bye, Luca.
Bye, Sean. Bye, Chris.
Bye, Luca. Bye, Chris.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Luca.
See you guys. Bye, Luca.
Bye.